If you are a U.S. citizen who was born in the United States, we need to talk and you need to listen to this video. So tomorrow, April 1st, the Supreme Court will be hearing arguments for Trump versus Barbara, which, if they decide to uphold his executive order, would effectively end birthright citizenship in the United States. It's very important to understand that right now, major media outlets are only focusing on the fact that the administration is trying to target the children of people who immigrate to the United States illegally or on temporary visas, but they are misleading you. They are misleading you because the implications of this Supreme Court case is massive and widespread and will unravel the citizenship of the United States, impacting millions of people. It is very important to understand because, again, the media outlets are not framing it the way they should be, and the fact that if you are a new parent after this order goes into effect, you will have to prove your citizenship in order for your child to receive a citizenship, which means in the United States, babies born after the effect of this executive order will be presumed to be non-citizens unless their parents can prove their citizenship. So it's not a matter of simply, a child of an illegal immigrant, they're not going to be a citizen. No, you, random person who was born in the United States, has been in the United States all your life, is a U.S. citizen, you will have to prove your citizenship for your child to receive a citizenship. And the thing is, the guidelines that have been issued to the Social Security Administration detail how your birth certificate will not be enough to prove you are a U.S. citizen. And it doesn't just stop there either. The arguments being made by the Trump administration in their briefs, as well as their allies, are arguing to allow for Congress, as well as states, to have more of a discretionary role as it comes to determining people's citizenship. As in, they are going to open the door to start revoking citizenship of people who are born in the United States. Yes. This could be applied retroactively. In fact, this very issue and concern was discussed at a March 10th Senate hearing just at the cusp of the Supreme Court case. I'll run the clip for you.
The impact of this kind of interpretation could affect millions of, if there is retroactive application, which there's nothing in the executive order or anything that the Supreme Court may deem that would say that that this kind of reinterpretation cannot be applied retroactively. So there would be millions of U.S. citizens who could be denied citizenship as a result. Isn't that right?
That's correct. And in fact, the Trump administration, the executive order itself just says this is the interpretation. It's absolutely retroactive. And then it recognizes that in its brief as well.
If you are denied citizenship and if the regime gets its way with the SAVE Act, which would require proof of citizenship in order to vote, does that mean that millions of people in our country who are citizens by virtue of being born in this country would be denied the right to vote?
Yes, they'd be denied all the rights of citizenship, including the right to vote or serve in public office or serve on a jury.
And if you see this video and you're thinking, oh, she's just fear-mongering, she knows what she's talking about. You're wrong. I've been reporting and talking about how they're going to attack and try to end birthright citizenship for the past 5 years on this app. To give you examples of previous videos, I'll tag some of them below for your reference. Nonetheless, this is a clip, again, from that Senate hearing where they discuss how this can be applied retroactively, and also current citizens will have their citizenship scrutinized.
First is the executive purports to interpret what the Citizenship Clause has always meant. It purports to say it's always meant this. It says it's restoring the original understanding of the Citizenship Clause. That clause has been on the books since 1868. So all of us would then be subject to scrutiny of our ancestry. And for those who had a parent who was temporarily present, or grandparent or great-grandparent, or who'd violated immigration law, maybe 3 generations in the past, everyone's citizenship would be suspect. And the administration recognizes that. They note that in their brief, and they ask the Supreme Court to apply the law prospectively only, but they recognize they're arguing for an interpretation that would unwind the citizenship of the nation.
Much of the pushback I get on reporting on the attack on birthright citizenship, yes, reporting on it, is that people are thinking way too hard about the application of how they would, apply or start revoking people's citizenship. And they're thinking way too hard on this because, one, there's already precedent. I'll tag the video below I made back in October talking about how in the early 1900s, if you were an American woman, born, bred, raised American woman, and you married a foreign man, you lost your U.S. citizenship. Okay, so that's already one precedent, which, considering the Supreme Court case we saw back in 2024, which the court ruled that you being a U.S. citizen do not have any constitutional right for your foreign-born spouse to be with the United States, You see where this could possibly go? Like, they are going to just try to use all of this to determine who is actually going to be welcomed, who will see citizenship in the United States. Not only that, they can just make people functionally stateless. Whereas if you cannot prove your citizenship, well, guess what? You can't get a passport. And if they pass the SAVE Act, you can't vote. So not only can you not leave the country, but you cannot exercise your constitutional right of being able to vote. That simple. You are functionally stateless. And to put it in perspective, the Brennan Center for Justice did a survey back in 2024 and found that 21 million Americans do not have access to documents that would prove their citizenship readily available to them. And it gets worse. 3.8 million Americans do not have these documents at all, which means if this goes into effect, they are functionally stateless if they cannot prove they are a U.S. citizen. And it's that simple. I do not have a call to action. I have videos of steps my family and I are taking to prepare. Watch those videos, don't watch them, completely up to you. I'm also not going to tell you to call your reps because that's not going to do a damn thing. And I'm so sorry, y'all, but it's not. What I will say is to buckle up because this Supreme Court case will unravel the country and likely create a major conflict in the future.